So Nintendo is obviously in uncharted territories when it comes to the success of the Nintendo Switch console, and we are now starting to see competition pop up and try to take on the Switch form factor from a company like Steam. So I want to briefly talk through the new console that they unveiled, and then I really want to share with you guys Nintendo and their overall pricing strategy going forward, because this could be setting some trends when it comes to the entire gaming industry with raising prices on consoles going forward. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below. Hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, we are talking about a couple different topics today. The first one I want to quickly cover is an announcement from Valve around a competitor to the Switch, and they are calling it the Steam Deck, and it was just unveiled yesterday. And this is a clunky looking console. It actually made me very grateful for the form factor of the Nintendo Switch, because my initial impressions on the overall aesthetic of this is that it doesn't look like something I would want to carry around with me and play on the go. And while it's not really being marketed as a hybrid console, I'm pretty sure something like this, since it is a PC, could be docked and could be considered what you would maybe say a Switch competitor. But I do think it targets a different audience, as they're really looking to be more like a portable PS4. But I want to quickly read through the article, the press release, and then kind of share with you guys some of the tech specs around it and whether or not I think this will have any kind of impact on Nintendo Switch sales. Valve has announced Steam Deck, its Switch-style handheld gaming PC. The device, which was first reported on earlier this year, is described as a powerful all-in-one portable PC, capable of running the latest AAA games. Like a Nintendo Switch, it can even be plugged into a television via cables or an official dock, which will be sold separately. Steam Deck is also an open PC, Valve said, with the ability to install any software or connect with any hardware. The handheld will feature a powerful custom APU developed with AMD, a 7-inch touchscreen, full-size controls with gyro and trackpads, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, microSD expansion slot, and a USB-C port. It will begin shipping in December, with prices starting at $399 for 64 gigabytes, where increased storage options will be available for $529 for 256 gigabytes and $649 for 512 gigabytes on an SSD. So I think the big talking point from this news story is the simple fact that other companies are realizing the success of the hybrid market, and they want a little slice of that pie for themselves. But obviously, you know, the Steam community is definitely more of your hardcore gaming PC fan base, and it does not cross over very much with the wide market of the Nintendo Switch, where just a casual consumer may go into a Walmart and pick up a Nintendo Switch. And this Steam Deck will not be on regular retail shelves. You are ordering it straight from Valve. So while I don't think this will be some kind of just true up competitor to the Nintendo Switch when it comes to sales or stealing away sales from the Switch, I think it just targets a different audience, and it is something that's going to be interesting to watch how this console performs and how, you know, it's marketed going forward, and if they ever get to a point where they do want to scale it into stores. But just like anything else in 2021, Steam did release today their availability around ordering this straight through them, and of course we're already seeing the prices on eBay for astronomical asks. I mean, we're talking $2,000, $3,000 for some of these machines, and if you guys saw in the article, the highest tier is $649. So obviously the scalping market continues to run wild, and it is crazy out there. But you know, the Steam Deck to me does look like something I'll probably pass up on. But if you're into emulation, I think that would probably be the one big selling point. You could probably run just about any console up to, you know, the PS3 maybe, or at least the PS2 with up resolutions whenever you're emulating it, and have it on the go, and something that you could plug into a TV when you want to. So it is a nice, you know, little concept there. And because it has Bluetooth, you could probably play with other controllers, and that's what I would do, because the handheld form factor of this thing, like I said, does not look pleasing to me. But you know, it's going to have its own market out there, and I'd be curious to know from you guys if you're interested in something like a Valve Steam Deck at all, or if this is something that you'll just, you know, pass up on and not really have any, you know, interest or intention of buying. And then the other thing I want to cover today is the overall success of the Switch, and really that Nintendo could be kind of turning the tides here on what console manufacturers typically do in a mid-cycle refresh. Because if you guys don't know, the Switch OLED model did go live for pre-orders yesterday in the US, and they absolutely sold out incredibly fast. This was the console that, if you remember online, and you know, kind of like the vocal minority was saying, we are not going to get this thing, it's not worth the upgrades, I'm not going to pay the extra $50 for for just a better screen with no internal enhancements. And surprise, surprise, this thing is sold out everywhere, already being scalped on eBay, and it's definitely going to be that high demand holiday 2021 item that everybody is searching for and trying to get at all costs. So Nintendo has kind of turned the tides here on what you would typically do with a mid-cycle refresh, which is to give True Up more power and maybe give it at the same price, because obviously the components have gone down in price, but instead we saw Nintendo stick to the same chipset, same internals, and just do some very minimal revisions to the outside of the console, such as the kickstand, a little bit of enhanced audio, and then obviously the big selling point is the 7-inch OLED screen for those who play primarily in handheld mode. But this is again going up $50 in price point. We then had Bloomberg cover how this is really costing Nintendo roughly $10 extra to manufacture when you break it down individually between the new screen, the extra internal storage, and then just the overall other revisions that they made to it. It's only $10 more, but we're going up $50 in price. We've never seen a discount on the original model of the Switch since it launched in 2017. So it's creating a lot of talk online about what this might mean for companies that see this, that are now seeing Nintendo profit roughly an extra $40 per console, besides the fact that the internal components have probably gone down in price since they originally launched. So this means more net revenue in Nintendo's pocket. And I want to quickly read through a Nintendo Life article that is very interesting and outlines what this could mean for the future of gaming consoles as a whole. Switch OLED success could set a precedent for charging more across the industry, analyst warns. The upcoming Nintendo Switch OLED, a revised version of Nintendo's hybrid system with an upgraded screen and other minor adjustments, will be a particularly interesting hardware launch for companies across the industry. As has already been well documented, the Switch OLED will retail at a price point $50 higher than the original model, despite the fact that it fails to offer any true performance improvements over that machine. A report recently suggested that the new OLED model only cost Nintendo around $10 more to produce per unit, however, meaning that the company looks set to gain an extra $40 gross per sale should the console be a success. Historically, when game consoles have been on the market for 4 to 5 years like the Switch, we're used to seeing price cuts or significantly improved hardware revisions to keep the sales rolling. The OLED will of course break this trend, instead upping the price. Presumably, Nintendo believes that the Switch's impressive momentum will remain high for a good while yet, perhaps even rising rather than declining. So obviously, if you're Nintendo, it is not the most pro-consumer thing to charge more for something that is not really costing the company that much more to manufacture. It is simply a profit move, but you have to keep in mind for the long term of Nintendo, they might as well make hay while the sun is shining and really capitalize on this incredible momentum of the Switch. And all of that money that they're going to get that's extra revenue will go into research and development for different products and to really position Nintendo to be a continuous powerhouse in the console industry. And so it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, there's a portion that it's like Nintendo is greedy here, but they're greedy because of what they've built with the Nintendo Switch, and it continues to sell. The OLED models flying off the shelves yesterday with really no performance improvements really does show that the market is so strong behind the Switch, and anything that Nintendo puts out there around the Switch, that they're still going to pay top dollar to get it. And this is even backing up and lining up with a report from NPD that does states that basically for all of North America, the Switch is the most successful selling console for the first half of 2021. That's right, all 6 months of 2021 so far, both total unit sales and total dollar sales go to the Nintendo Switch console. And that is just crazy to see that this hardware has been on the market for over 4 years now, getting close to the 5th year, and it's still continuing to outpace record numbers. And it's just crazy that in addition to that, we're going to see an OLED model which is the revision, coming in October, and you're going to have people who purchase it twice, such as myself. You're going to have people who are going to wait it out for a true performance improvement. But I do think that there's enough handheld focused players out there that this thing's going to continue to be hard to find, and this could really set a trend in the industry of what we could see console manufacturers do going forward. Because if you were ever a PlayStation fan like I am, I paid $400 originally for a PS4 when it was released, then for I think $450 later on when the PS4 Pro came out. I upgraded to that, but I got got better performance with it, and so I didn't feel like I was getting the same old hardware for more dollars. It literally felt like it was a worthwhile upgrade, especially if you want to sell your old existing hardware. Nowadays, you know, we could be seeing console manufacturers, especially Sony, really watch how Nintendo markets this new model with the same kind of performance included, and it may start to set those trends that companies are realizing, wait a minute, we can charge more and still get away with bigger profits at the end of the day. And I do think something like a $400 PS5 digital only right now is a really interesting experiment from Sony, because they may be sitting back and watching this and realize they probably could have charged more, as the PS5 is also seeing all-time record-breaking sales. So at the end of the day, it's good news for gamers, because the gaming industry is so profitable right now, and there's so much focus on creating amazing games and great experiences on these consoles that at the end of the day, we do win. However, we have to spend our hard-earned money and extra dollars sometimes to get things that you could argue are not worth it to everybody. But that's why I think at the end of the day, if you don't like the OLED enhancement, it's just simply not the revision for you. And I'm still holding out hope that maybe the end of 2022, or even into 2023, alongside a Breath of the Wild 2 launch, that we may still see some kind of 4K Switch. I know a bunch of people have given up hope on that. I'm still holding on to an olive branch of hope that says that maybe that will happen. Maybe Bloomberg didn't get the 4K thing totally wrong, but it's just off on the timeline. So that all remains to be seen. But at this point in the video, guys, I want to know your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about. Do you think the Valve Steam Deck will have any kind of true threat to the Nintendo Switch, or do you think this is more of just an enthusiast style machine like I think it will be, and kind of more of a niche audience? And then also let me know how you feel about Nintendo. I know I made a video yesterday on the OLED pre-order situation and them going live and probably going to sell out, and sure enough they did, and there was a lot of wins out there. A bunch of people came back and commented that they did get their system, so congrats to all you guys out there who were able to secure it. I was able to secure it as well, luckily thanks to a in-store pre-order that GameStop had set up. So I am personally pumped for this console. I'm not thrilled about the fact that I'm paying more for something that technically has no performance improvements other than really that OLED screen, but it's something that's still worth it to me, because I do intend to play my Switch in handheld mode more. But I want to know how you guys feel about this scenario, so make sure you leave all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started around this. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's gonna do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.